You know how often people talk about data-driven decisions? It sounds like a buzzword until you've actually sat across from a farmer in northern Kenya or a policymaker in Accra or a youth leader in Lagos, and then you realize just how much of their stories are being shaped or misshaped by the data behind the scenes. For the last 10 years, we at Fieldwork Africa have been collecting stories like this, but not just in words, but in numbers, behaviors, and patterns. We've worked in villages where mobile surveys are the only way to reach people. We've also worked in cities where opinions shifted faster than headlines. We've been across borders, sectors, and demographics, capturing what people are thinking, feeling, and choosing. And when we step back to take a look at the past decade worth of data, the trends we saw weren't just informative, but they were also surprising. Hello everyone, and welcome back to Fieldwork Africa's YouTube channel, where we talk about everything related to market research, social research in Africa, and the trends in between. My name is Miriam, and in this video we are going to be taking a look at surprising trends that are shaping policy, progress, and people based on the data we've collected for the past 10 years. For example, one of the first assumptions that we challenged was the idea that rural communities are always disconnected or hard to reach. That has been the narrative for years, but our long-term party data told a different story. In country after country, we saw a quiet but steady digital leap. It's not flashy, it was not always fast, but it was meaningful. In some places, more people started using mobile phones and got comfortable with digital tools faster than we expected. People did not wait for infrastructures to catch up, but they adapted. They shared devices, they learned, and they improvised. And by doing that, they open a completely new pathway for engagement, feedback, and inclusion. That is a pattern we couldn't have seen without long-term, prolonged research, without asking the same questions again and again over the years in different ways. Hey there! I see you're watching, but you're yet to subscribe. What exactly are you waiting for? Don't be shy, hit the subscribe button. And also turn on the notification bell to get notified whenever we post a new video. According to our YouTube analytics, most of our viewers are not subscribed. Please don't be one of them. Thank you. Another trend that stood out was the rise in women participation in research. It is easy to frame this as progress, and in some ways it is. We have seen more women stepping forward, more voices being heard, particularly around health, education, and economic priorities. But the truth is, representation doesn't automatically translate into impact. So often, research captures women's voices but don't actually listen to them, especially in program evaluations. We saw a mismatch between what women shared and what ended up in the final reports. That gap matters. It means that even when women are part of the process, their insights are not always shaping outcomes. That is a challenge that we've taken seriously, and it is one of the reasons why we emphasize on local enumerators, co-design tools, and culturally responsive field work. Because meaningful inclusion takes more than a sample quota, but it also takes trust. Speaking of trust, there is a thread that ran through almost every trend we found. No matter where we worked, whether it was an M&E project for an international NGO or a social behavior study for a government agency, the quality of our insights almost always comes down to one thing. That is how much people trusted the process. Trust is what made people open up. It is what allowed difficult conversations to happen. It is what turned survey responses into genuine insights, and it's something you can't fake. You build trust by showing up consistently, listening carefully, and respecting the people whose data you are privileged to collect. We also found out that we need to stop thinking of the African youth as a single unified group. Yes, the youth bulge is real, but what a 21-year-old university student in Nairobi value might be different from a 19-year-old welder in Kano or a 25-year-old teacher in Kigali will prioritize. When we segment this group properly by region, by education, by urban or rural environment, we start to see real diversity in values, ambitions, and expectations. This is not just a demographic insight, it is a program design imperative. If your interventions are built based on generalized assumptions of young people, you are likely missing the mark. What these stories and numbers remind us is that good research doesn't just confirm the numbers we already know, it challenges us, it reveals nuance, and it gives us the strong humility to say, oh, we didn't see that coming, but now we do. At Fieldwork Africa, we are committed to that kind of research. That is research that listens before it concludes, research that adapts with context, research that earns its right to inform real decisions because it is grounded in relationships, in rigor, and in the reality of everyday life across the continent. If these insights resonate with you, this is just the start. We have more stories, more data, and more lessons coming from the field. So if you're in the business of creating change in policy, in business, or in community development, stick with us. The next decade is going to look very different, and the data is already pointing the way. For more information about Fieldwork Africa and our services, visit www.fieldworkafrica.com. If you're interested in working with us, send a mail to mail@fieldworkafrica.com. If you enjoyed this video, then you are definitely going to like this video showing on the screen. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.